Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. My name is Karla Andriani, and I'm a postdoc at Quantitative Nanomaterials Group, which is led by Professor Jerez da Silva. And today, in this brief webinar, I'm going to present on this topic that is the reviewing the first step of methane to methanol reaction mechanism on transition metal clusters. This topic is part of my postdoctoral proposal, which is the direct conversion of methane to methanol over different type of materials. And I'm also working with other collaborators in the group, like PhD students, master students, and scientific initiation students. And today we are trying to answer these questions why we should investigate methane to methanol reactions. So I divided this presentation in some topics: the introduction, why methane is so important as new energy, our main goals in regard of this specific topic, the methodology that we are using so far to treat this problem, some preliminary results, and our present work regarding other type of materials. So if you look here, we are now starting with why we should use natural gas. This graphic shows that actually are here in a quaternary phase of new energy era, where we are dependent for coal, oil, natural gas, and other green renewable sources of energy. However, if you look for the projects for 50 and 100 years further, we can see that we are in slow transitions, but nowadays we are in the heyday of natural gas. However, this scenario is not spread worldwide. As you can see here, for instance, in Pacific Asia, there are also a large dependence of oil and coal as energy. So one of the main goals is to increase the consumption of other energy sources rather than oil. So if now we're looking here, this projection also shows us that the other natural gas consumption is going to increase with the population growth, specific on the rise of non-OECD countries. There are the Organization of World Economic Cooperation and Development, which are included the Pacific Asians. So why use natural gas is so important as new energy? Since natural gas is primarily composed by methane, which is one of the most stable and attractive molecules, since it's a direct precursor of cell chemistry. However, use methane or natural gas as it has some challenges due to their spread on remote areas, with the cost for transportation and liquefaction, so on. So it's necessary to convert methane in other products, and one of these options are convert methane to methanol, the M2M conversions. So nowadays, methane is converted to methanol via two processes. The first one is an indirect process called syngas, where it's use a different source of oxygens like O2, CO2, and water, which use different process, the parts oxidation, reformer, and steel reformer, over different catalysts. Industrially, in the first step, this reaction occurs in a nickel supported on aluminum catalysis. To yield the synthesis gas, which is the CO and H2. The second step is the formation of methanol over a copper zinc under an aluminum catalyst. However, this have me show some pros and some losses to turn methane into methanol. So methanol can be used as a chemical feedstock, as solvent, and gasoline additive. However, this scenario is really difficult because it needs a high cost plant to keep the temperature high and maintain the pressure, as you can show here. Most of these these reactions or this process are not thermodynamically favorable, which has required a lot of energy and occurs and hence occurs high temperature and pressure. The second process to obtain methanol is a direct method, which is called DMT method. It's direct methane to methanol, where it's used a lot of any type of catalysis and another source of oxygen, IO2, peroxides, and phosphoric acid. It has had some pros that you can use methanol with high selectivity, without pass for syngas production, and also occurs in mild conditions of temperature and pressure. However, it has its losses, like unbalanced stoichiometry. Methanol can also lead to overoxidation, and also when you use oxygen as molecular oxygen as fount of oxygen into this unbalanced stoichiometry, this reaction is being forbidden. So you have to take into account all these effects. However, we have tried to design new catalysis to mimetize the active site of the methane oxygenase enzyme that directly converts methane in methanol and mild conditions. So, however, there is we have another difficulty to regard this conversion. That is, methane is a stable molecule, presents a tetrahedral symmetry and to a rate pKa, which is difficult to remove this hydrogen. So we are trying to understand which catalysts are more efficient to activate methane, and we have a lot of distinct catalysts that can be used, like transition metal particles, oxides, transition metal particles supporting oxides and sulfates, amorphous, graphene, and so on. However, another challenge comprises that we have to understand the whole process from starting the adsorption of methane on the catalysis surface, as well its activations, like it needs the removal of one hydrogen. Also toward the distortion of methanol or other high-value commodities. So another it's a challenge to try to address this, because if we choose oxygen to react with methane to the methanol, we can list some at least 21 equations that they are separate and some subgroups. The first subgroup is the hydrogenation reactions that regard the step-by-step the hydrogenation of methane to reach carbon. Then we have the direct reactions that this product direct reacts to the oxygen source to yield some products. Then we have indirect reactions, this concerted mechanism where with the abstraction of the proton, it yields the same products in the direct reactions, and also the methanol dehydrogenation process, and some of the most common side products. So another challenge is which type of mechanism models this type of reaction. So we can at least suggest two most famous mechanisms where the first reactant is adsorbed and decomposed on the catalysis. Then the second reactant is also adsorbed, and the reaction occurs to the desorption of the product. Or on the other hand, we can, in the intermediate step, the distortion of the second react occurs in a gas phase. This type of mechanism has also have to be taken into account to describe the whole process of methane to methanol reaction, as well to try to gain some information from the experimental available results. So the main goal of this work was to study the methane hydrogenation on transition metal clusters, specific on iron. We also use the revised unit bond index quadratic exponential potential method, that's commonly known as UBI KIP method, where we can obtain the activation energy for each elementary step by knowing the dissociation energy of the gas phase molecule, and also the distortion energy of each species in the elementary reactions. For that, we use the term revised because this method was commonly used in the 80s, especially in chemical engineering, and now have been paginated by Bill Peterson recently. In our method, we take into account not only that hydrogen can absorb with the same energy of the site, but we take into account the real energy that hydrogen, that social energy of the hydrogen in the specific site. So this is also called the hybrid semi-empirical DFT method because this dissociation energy can be used with experimental values, or also with the DFT calculations, and so higher correlation methods like correlation methods. However, this energy is really sensitive to the DFT level to employed, as well the corrections like van der Waals and zero-point energy corrections. However, they also lead the same, despite the fluctuations, they lead the same tendency than other type of calculations to yield the activation energies like NAB, string methods, dimer, and so on. So I will show you now some of our results from the methane hydrogenation on this type of systems. We am showing here the hydrogenation for CH4 to C, for nickel in green, iron in black, and cobalt in red, and copper in blue, where we can say we have a tendency that to increase the distortion energy magnitude with the hydrogenation process, which also is along with some variation of structural parameters like the decrease of the bond lengths, of the bond distance between the CH species and the transition metal clusters. Or we notice a tendency to this species to restore the five-fold coordinations and so on. But this is important to say that from this type of methods we can the graphic shows the nickel absorbed as the social energy magnitude for nickel is larger from the iron, then cobalt and copper. Well, this really agreed with some experimental results. For instance, if you look, pay attention only for the copper system, we have shown that there is a break of this tendency where the CH, the dissociation for the CH on copper materials is larger than C, which is also in agreement that the copper-based materials are not prone to foreign carbon depositions. So we also address some other factors like which the hydrogen co-distortion, the distortion magnitude. We found that there is an increase of this magnitude to higher values when hydrogen is co-absorbed. And why we can explain that this different type of behavior from nickel and copper. Nickel is the strongest one, and copper is the weakest one to absorb this type of the CAGN species. We can now use a lot of techniques of analysis, but now I show you only the project density states. When you look here from these two extremes, nickel and copper, from stage 4, stage 3, stage 2, CH, and C. We can see a large difference from the carbon P stage. The carbon P stage, it has a broadening towards more positive direction, the broadening of the lumen towards the lumen of these states, and then we have when you compare these states that are in purple with the Cooper. With Cooper 1, we can see that the increase of hybridization between these P states with the G states from the metal, which is not observed, which is also observed, but in the lower magnitude for Cooper. The second, as you can, one of the reasons that the Cooper has occupation of the states, we have also shift of these states towards my negative directions, that also that not favors the hybridization with the sp states from carbon. And when we include the hydrogen, we can see that the dissociation energy increased, and we maximize the effect of this hybridization now with participation of the S states from hydrogen. Another important result from that we can take the CH4 as a reference, the gas phase. We can also propose this type of graphic, of scheme, that I can show you that between the studied metals, nickel is the paramount to form CH3 species, but it's really near with cobalt. However, when you look for Cooper 1, the CH3 are in more positive energy values, and also in agreement with all distortion energy tables, that nickel has a preference to form of carbon depositions rather than copper. And to address now some of the kinetical properties of this type of systems, we can show here the Cooper for the Cooper material, for the Cooper clusters, where we can the activation energy barriers are given by these values. This is without any corrections, with 0-point energy correction, and without VDW, even the Valls corrections. I explained earlier that this correction has a huge effect, especially when we are dealing with phase distortions and longer range interaction, like occurs in CH4 with the clusters. However, as you can show here, there is now the changes from the use with ZP and VDW correction has a major effect